Oh, well, at a directors and chairs meeting in the College of the Arts, Dahl came through with the Budget Central presentation back in 2011 about how it might be the worst case scenario, the mid-level scenario for the budget year coming. And after his presentation, I asked him, he asked if we had any questions, and I asked him, well, listen, instead of dealing with students in terms of 1,000 cuts as tuition increases, why don't you just look at the market rate for our education that we're delivering compared to other state universities and raise the tuition once to that market level? I said, you might be surprised how much money you'd have left over, and you could in fact increase the scholarships for students. And he looked at me and said, well, I wish the president were here, because he would tell you that things wouldn't work out quite the way that you're indicating. And that's the vice president and provost for finance. I wish Daddy was here, because he would be able to tell you. And if you didn't listen to him, then you would really be in trouble.
I have to go because I actually have to serve students.
Oh.
It's amazing.
Oh.
But I hope to see you guys soon again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming.
Bye. Thank you for coming. Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers talks about success. He says, looking at different occupational groups in society, for a moment looking at musicians, he says, it's possible to quantify success. World-class musicians, but this applies to world-class hockey players, baseball players, nuclear physicists, and so forth, spend about 10,000 hours working on perfecting their skills. Professional level musicians, people who work playing music, about 7,000 hours of practice. And instructors of music, about 3,000 to 4,000 hours. So just using that as a rubric, we need to look at our environment here and ask the question, are we creating an environment that will help our students make substantial progress toward that 10,000 hours of success? Now, we can't give them all of the 10,000 hours, because that would be just beyond the 4 years we have here. But can we set them up so that by the time they finish here, they've got a big chunk of that completed? And I think we can. I think that if you look at the academic year, we take 15 hours of courses across, 15 hours across 5 courses, times 32 weeks in the year, that's 1,024 hours, times 4 years, that's 4,094 hours. If you include work outside of class, that's 8,100, almost 8,200 hours, about 2,000 hours short, but then that's graduate school, or that's work in-service training that you would get to improve your knowledge base and become expert. The problem with this is that we don't have students on this campus who are free to invest that other 4,000 hours because they're working 1 job, 2 jobs, or 3 jobs to afford the increased tuitions to come here. And as a consequence, we're cutting them off at the knees. We need to help them. One plan might be to create a work boot camp before they come from the JC to campus to help them improve their writing and math and communication skills, and continue that into the summer after their freshman year to make sure they're getting the good study habits and the good communication habits under their belt, regardless of their discipline. Unless we start thinking differently about this, this is going to have an impact on our students, and we will turn around and find out that in fact we are well and truly screwed. Let me just take a moment and kind of sum up this way. These students, without this kind of investment, will start in their careers behind their cohorts from other schools who are better positioned by virtue of family income, by virtue of their ability to get into better public schools that don't have these draconian unit caps. What that means is that when they do leave us and go for employment, they're going to get lower salaries. Their initial jobs will be lower in salary compensation. They will still have to pay back the debts. That means that they'll be paying back the debts with lower salaries until they can get to that next higher job. They get to that next higher job after their cohorts are long gone. So they never catch up with their cohorts. It means that they're later marrying, they're later buying homes, they have children later. By the way, when they buy their home, it's later in the market cycle, so the house costs more. The mortgage is higher. More of their income has to go to service that mortgage, which means once their kids are out of school, K through 12 and in university, and it's time for them to start saving for retirement, they have less money to put into a private plan for retirement, which means that instead of having a comfortable retirement, we're setting them up to go backwards. And this won't just affect them, folks. It's going to affect the economy in California. It's going to affect the national economy. This is a big deal. It's more than just somebody parachuting in, avoiding close inspection of faculty in an open process for the presidency of this campus. It's about what education is going to be like in California. Are we going to let the bureaucrats take it over? Because if we do, it won't be just that we spend 60 cents out of every allocated state dollar to fund the administration institution. By the way, by comparison, insurance companies spend 33 cents, 34 cents out of every dollar for administration overhead, and the Social Security Administration 3 to 4 cents. It can be done more cheaply. We don't have to have the biggest administration of any CSU campus in our system, which we do now and have had since the 90s. We have more vice presidents than you can shake a stick at. There were no provosts when I came here. There was no provost. Now we have 3. What is the second and third provost doing that the other 2 can't? That's what I want to know. Okay, so a lot's at stake. Literally, our children's, our students' futures are at stake. Now, one choice is to stick your head down, bend your head over, look down, march into your classroom, do your lectures, grade your papers, and helpfully move your students along, writing letter recommendations and so forth. I understand that. There is very little enthusiasm on this campus. I understand that. But the other choice is to step up and say, sorry, I don't go along with this. And we need to have these people come to the campus and talk to us about what they think the issues on this campus are, what they think the vision for CSULB is, how they see our students graduating and moving into their employment and jobs. We need to have these people come to us in the flesh and talk to us about it. They're going to have almost an entire year after they apply for the job to think about the job, and the notion that they wouldn't be prepared for a public presentation argues against their candidacy. Doesn't it? Okay, that's all I have to say. I hope I haven't bored you. Yes, please.